Good evening, everybody. Tonight, we have the pristine honor to commentate Rivals tonight. My name is Adrian Magno. I will be your host tonight. And, we're going to start on the Hellfire Gala, which is a domination map, which is control. So we just have to hold the point. Tonight, the matchup is the Conestoga Condors Academy versus the UAlbany Danes. From UAlbany's side, they like to play a little bit of rush, as that is kind of the meta we're in. But from what we're seeing, it may actually be more of like a poke. We see the Hell and Namor team up. Even for Widow, they're not playing for the vibes, hopefully. On the other team, you kind of see maybe kind of a brawl team setup, with Bucky, Storm really locking it down with Mag and Cloak, two main healers. With Hellfire Gala, it's really up for a choice. We see the Psylocke banned, so they don't want too much dive. Probably don't want the Psylocke being like a mosquito in the back line. We see Hawkeye banned. Hawkeye is really strong this season. His headshots are just so much, and almost one-tap, I believe, most DPS and support, which is just annoying. We see the Mag ban from UAlbany here. Maybe a target ban, potentially, but it's probably pretty normal as they are going poke. Mag is just stopping anybody from getting headshots, so I would assume it is because of that. We see the Luna ban from the Condors, probably just denying, another main healer as they are trying to focus on Cloak and Dagger and Invis. We see the UAlbany Danes looking to get Deadpool. Deadpool, once again, another very strong addition to the roster. Getting that ult just so fast is just so annoying to deal with, especially in that first fight. We see an Invis save from UAlbany and a Bucky save from the Condors. Definitely looks like they love that Bucky pick. Bucky, once again, just an amazing character. His grab, he just has such good detail. Then we see a Gambit ban. Gambit, once again, sounding like a broken record here. Gambit's really strong. That ult is just a team wipe. Then we see a Phoenix ban as the finale. It kind of seems that the Condors know that UAlbany might go poke here and kind of preventing them. The Danes are going to continue to go Hella Namor for the team up. We see Loki Invis, so definitely going to have two Invis ults, potentially stealing Cloak ult, which might help them in the long run. We see Thing Strange for a very anti-dive tank lineup. Thing might struggle here, but it's just hard to say. And then we see the Condors going for Strange Deadpool, tank, Cloak Dagger support, and like we were talking about, the Storm and Bucky DPS. Definitely a brawl versus poke here. If I had to, can't really assume anything right now, but I feel like the brawl comp might do a little decent here. Strange, simply with the shield, might just stop the poke from even be able to get a pick. I assume they're instantly going to swap off Storm because Hella is going to be way too much, especially if the Dane's Hella player is really good. But only time can tell.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area.
Unfortunately, no port from either team. I would have loved to see an instant port on the back line, which is very interesting. So we gotta wonder what team are gonna look to go to point first, and it looks like the Condors are gonna take the point first. With Brawl, you probably want to play with Space pretty well. So they're doing that. Same entry. Storm's pulling down the corner, as Strange does. Probably can use the Strange actually overextends slightly, gets the pick off. He has a really good pick to start off. Brawl in there, above. Gets another pick. And we just, big snowball from the Danes there. That early pick, especially in Brawl, really just snowball out of control. A swap to Moon Knight from the Condors off the Bucky. Very smart play, I would say, especially for poke. And just kind of signal out, Hella or Namor a little easier. You see the Deadpool just try to get a little bit here as Deadpool does. He has the potential to get hold like 20 minutes. Again by the Namor, actually. I don't know how well that Storm pick is going to do here. but they do get the counter pick on some Namor. And we see the Dead Street does go out. We have in the Jolt online, right to top that angle. It's actually out already. Great go in the air, might look for an automotive soon, because he does have that on dead. Moonlight Ult. Moonlight Ult does count in the back line. Doesn't get any picks, and the Danes actually get picks on the back line, starting with the Cloak. And the Thing just once again brawling, snowballing that out of control. Very well done from the Danes. Just finishing off the Moonlight there. The Condors, struggling here to get momentum. They potentially get a pick, and it's just they don't know how to potentially get off that because the Thing is just brawling the front, so it's really hard to get any deeper. We see the M of it swap from Deadpool here, so try to stop the Thing and maybe grab the range a bit. Emma may not be too good here. By the eye of Agamotto! The strange ult there, we see the Hella ult, the abundant ult now, in this ult.
Your power's outside!
But the ult that came out. Big brawl here. The focus coming in the perfectly timed pick on the Moonlight and the Emma. Normal. Might come out, might get it off. It's a bit back and forth here, pretty close, but it looks like the Danes are gonna win the fight. And the Danes will go ahead and take round 1 actually. I think the Danes played pretty well there, all things considered. Maybe the ult usage was a little better there. But I do think the Condors had a very good idea there. The Invis ult did save them from about 3 ults, I think. So it was a very good potential to win there, but unfortunately, the Danes, once again, doing what they do pretty well as we can have really good picks. So as we can see from the Condors, switching back to Bucky, staying on the Emma, going to Moon Knight.
30 seconds before you attack.
Personal opinion here, do not think the Storm pick was probably the smartest there. With Hella, or even the Namor, as the Namor player seems to have shown, he can hit a storm out of the sky. So, he's not your average Namor player, as you've seen in your ranked games. Thing also almost online. Maybe Thing did not get an ult last time, did not see, unfortunately. But the ult usage is definitely a big play here.
4,
I mean,
3, 2,
as anybody knows, the support ults is so big and impactful in this game,
it?
so it definitely can't just waste them on anything.
My war against the surface world.
If I had to assume here, Thing is probably going to roll out pretty early to get maybe an early ult out, as the Condors do not have an ult, so Thing ult would be very devastating here.
Perfect.
But Strange might just block it all. Big ball in the middle here, as you can see on like I said, the Thing ult comes out, but the Cloak ult actually got built up just in time, and Cloak ult definitely saves everybody there. The Thing ult does come out, it's probably the Invis ult will kind of drop around the same time as the Cloak ult, so very big ult. The brawl might sway into the Danes' favor though, because they do get stopped pretty early. The Invis ult gets stun out. Unfortunately, cannot get a pick off just yet. There's the end of pick actually. And yes, once again, the Danes just snowballing this out of control. Once they love getting their 1 pick, just using that momentum to do it very well. And the Danes, the Thing has an ult again. The Thing, the Great Danes in must have just been brawling the hell out of the Condors because he has another ult already. After just using it just a few seconds ago, maybe about a minute ago. And we see the Danes have 3 ults online, Agamotto and Hella ult, but the Condors only have Invis and Moonlight, maybe Moonlight ult get a good short actually range. I wonder why we can't try to I don't think it's usually the ult, and unfortunately we use both Tank ults there, only get a cloak pick is a good pick, but the Invis Hella actually got a flashing pick on the end of it there for the Condors. But the Condors actually fighting back and actually I a huge Bucky ult that just did really good burst damage, and the Condors do take the point successfully. Like I said, maybe I was talking about it a little bit before, but the Condors, once they figured out to kind of counter the momentum and the aggression of the Danes once they get a pick, and they successfully won the fight. And something I'm curious to see here is how do the Danes get back up to point, as we saw they did really well in the first round. They didn't really get to see how they do by getting back off it. See here the answer. The Moon Knight gets picked off again. He's getting picked off so often that is not good. As Moon Knight definitely needs to conversion. Full Bolt doesn't happen. Makes it try to copy Agamotto. Stun the team. That might have been a misplay, but maybe not because the Danes actually are winning the fight. Maybe I'm wrong. The Loki did intend to get an Agamotto out of there just to stun the team, and it paid off. Very well done by the Loki player there to recognize, you know, a lot of Loki players tend to just default grab support ults, but there he realized the support ult's about to go down. Maybe I should just stun the whole team and, you know, just end up killing them. Luckily for him, it was not a blunder.
Enemies are near.
You see Groot and Moon Knight over here. That's definitely what the team just kind of done really well. And once again, very aggressive signal, LA, huge ult from the Danes, and once again they get the Danes do an amazing job at just snowballing out of the match 1 in favor of the Danes. It is currently 1-0 UAlbany, Condors 0. and welcome back, UAlbany. Once, like we said, Danes 1-0 to the Condors. I don't know if any of you were looking at the scoreboard, but the Hella on our team, the Ida, did an amazing job on Hella. I presume Hella will be an insta-ban. Yep, first ban out of the Condors right there. Definitely expected because the Hella was just very, very strong last time. We're on Convergence, we're on the Symbiotic Surface, which is Payload. No it's not, is it? I forget. Yes it is. We can see from the Condors, once again, trying to go back to kind of a default for them. We see the Storm hover, we see the Mag hover, we see a Strange hover, we see Invis, Cloak. The only thing different is the Hawkeye, who was playing Moon Knight and Bucky last game. So very interesting. You would think that the Condors might try something different to potentially stop the Danes from doing a poke comp. And we see from the Danes, they're hovering their defaults. You see Hella, you see Thing. Ida is switching to Hawkeye. Maybe he's an aim demon on Hawkeye as well. Yep, save the Hawkeye there. I don't think the Condors maybe expected him to potentially be crazy on Hawkeye as well, because Hawkeye is slightly more, can be much more overbearing in some matchups. Yep, save the Cloak there, save the Mag, save Thing from the Danes, ban Psylocke, very interesting, and Gambit, definitely Gambit. Psylocke, they probably don't want Dive to ruin their poke, so it can be expected here. Just have to see what the Condors want to do. Maybe try to ban a tank of theirs, ban Punisher. Punisher's also a decently aim-heavy character, and especially on, I believe this map has a really bad first choke, so Punisher definitely don't want that, especially the turret with the exploding rounds. It'll definitely be a pain for the Condors, so definitely don't want to deal with that. Might see an Emma ban from the Danes. Probably to, maybe they're trying to pivot to a strange Rocket Star-Lord. Now, from what I've been told, the Star-Lord player on the Danes is pretty notable, and so it might be scary for the Condors here. But as we can see, the Danes kind of replicating their same comp from last time, a few swaps here and there, kind of going for a half poke, Star-Lord in the back, really annoying type comp. Then we see the Condors going for a brawly poke kind of comp, you know, with Storm and also Hawkeye respectively. I wonder if the Hawkeye is going to do good against the Star-Lord, because as a lot of people know, Star-Lord can be a real mosquito in the backline, just really hard to kill. I mean, his flips, taking iframes is just absolutely crazy. His shift can get him out basically in that scenario, then his Matrix just free damage while he's hit. He's just really hard to hit. But Star-Lord on defense, I'm not too well known in Star-Lord gameplay, but I wonder how well he's going to do here. Probably just jump out every once in a while to scare the back.
5, 4, 3,
we see the Condors,
2,
I think, retreat now. I think they were hovering.
You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
Block, you know, obviously block off whatever comes their way. Really jump in. Storm might have to swap here. They're really trying to push the Storm type, and I'm talking about it a little bit at the beginning. Don't know how well it's going to fare. Hawkeye instantly gets a kick on their Hawkeye, actually. So I wonder if the offense will get aggressive here, as they saw at the beginning, where once they get a pick, they just get out of control. It's probably a bit harder on the field now. Conversions, because the choke is just so very tight. We see the Hawkeye on the Dane Ida getting out for the rocket, res clutch, and the Star-Lord already getting ult up really fast. He must have been doing a lot of work off screen. Unfortunately, I'm not Hawkeye. We see a Hawkeye again, but unfortunately gets picked off there. Strange type of attack up here. It's not looking good for Danes. That thing is holding on the line. You're gonna see the Cold come out. The Danes usually don't have any support already. The Invis does not have the Cloak yet. You see Rocket ult come out, but is that gonna be enough? Probably not. And the Condors do potentially Rocket at 1 HP. Hold on. the rocket lives there. Small little thing, but you know, might mean a big thing later on. We do see the Condors as we're talking about get first point. Very big blunder, I would say, on the Danes jumping out with Invisible. I do not know what their plan was there. I heavily considered that, you know, wasting a support ult there. They might have been looking to port, but even then, is the 7-second ult really worth it? As the Condors have plenty of ult online. Possibly a big blunder there. Might send the Danes back a bit, you know. That is a 7-minute failure later. See the thing, you're trying to do anything. Condors are playing space really well. Starter ult. Starter dies to the storm ult. Actually, sorry, to Nagel and the storm goes to the back line of the Danes. Storm goes die, but the Danes are down to Rocket and Star-Lord. Very good combo there. But we do see they have 3 ult bids, both Tangled and Hawkeye on. So I wonder if the Hawkeye is going to try to look for both stuns all around. Gets hit. Yeah. The Danes played really well there. Get numerous picks and just once again to know about out of control. Potentially might have used too many ults there. I believe they used both Tangled and potentially Star-Lord ults. So 3 ults for 1 fight. Are we sure that's the right play? We do not know. The Condors, however, don't have a lot of ults either, you know? They only have Hawkeye ult, usually ult soon. But they do get a point halfway, and I think that's a very good position they're in. They have 3 minutes on, they are doing really well. Storm trying to get for Hawkeye ult comes out, the other Hawkeye ult comes out, Hawkeye ult all around. But the Danes Hawkeye, once again, Ida showing that he's really good at aiming here. Gets to pick on their Hawkeye, gets to pick on Mag. Surprisingly on Mag. Mag is a shield saver, so he's not a shield saver without a Hawkeye. Starlord's running down here. Unfortunately dies for the Hawkeye on the Condors, you know, retaliating there. Ida here trying to get a pick on their Hawkeye. Trying to deflect it with the melee. If none of you know, Hawkeye can deflect some projectiles with his melee. Not a lot of Hawkeyes do, it's very hard to hit, but, you know, if you're running away, might as well, right? Condors with close ult and through ult here. I wonder if they're going to potentially just use close ult to enter, as most folks do. See Rocket ult, see another Agamotto. Actually comes out as I say that. UAlbany with plenty of ult online. Singles now. Invis ult out. Like combining that together. Rocket ult will not save Danes here. The Star-Lord getting 2 picks on the Storm and the Troops. Finishing off the Mag and sending the Condors back once again. Spawn. I mean, Albany, like, it's crazy how fast they get their ults. I feel like, as I say, they use an ult. Another minute later, they have another one. Maybe they just know how to probably use ults. Maybe they're really good at aiming. Who knows? The Condors always seem to be ult down. Actually, wasting them? We don't know. And, you know, it appears that the potential blunder from before from the Danes is Invis. You see Nagel now hit the Hawkeye. Probably a really good pick. Hawkeye did use ult there. Get him out. Rocket ult does come out. Res Ida. Ida coming back. Kills Mag. And once again, Albany snowball. What Albany does really good in Rivals here is just getting the pick and knowing how to collapse that onto their enemy. Now, potentially here, we see this, you know, nobody has ult, so it's really hard to say what's going to happen. And I cannot believe I'm saying it. We are seeing a Spider-Man swap from the Condors. Switching off Hawkeye and opting for Spider-Man. I don't know what their plan is here. Probably to disrupt the backline a bit. Maybe go on backline pressure. Hawkeye get a take on. It's really difficult for the Condors to walk up, and it looks like they're unfortunately backing up. And the Condors actually running out of time. They swapped the Spider-Man. But we see the Condors actually get a few hits here. Definitely need to happen. eventually have to use the fire hazard down. Definitely need to kill these tanks here. They need to stagger the games a little bit, but unfortunately they're not good at I want. They do actually get the invis to make that very important for the games, especially as their main support. This thing will probably go down here, and the Danes staggered a bit. They do have Agamotto, they do have Hawkeye ult, they do start, they have 4 ults. So I do believe the Danes could do something else here. See the Agamotto? The Cloak does come out very important. So once that Cloak goes down, it's a big run for the Condors. Going around, the Danes are actually down to the Condors. 1 very close fight here. Thing trying his best but not succeeding. The Condors successfully gets at least halfway. Very important on payload maps to just potentially use all your resources, go all in or for nothing, because it's really important to get that space. You know, to get as far as you can. Don't worry about being able. And we see the Danes have only a thing over online right now, so we're not really going to see this thing is not the best way, you know, it does a really good stun, but it's not that hard. You're actually potentially trying to block off and kind of pick him off. Maybe knowing because unfortunately the group does die there, but he does struggle against Hawkeye. Hawkeye is just far enough. Unfortunately, not seeing this. So the Invis on the Danes switch to Luna. I would give Star-Lord maybe a little more healing to give him more sustain. Potentially just opting for maybe longer ult, faster ult. You're just gonna have to see why they're opting for that. And you see that the Condors are actually still on Spider-Man. You think they'd switch off, but no, maybe they're liking Spider-Man. Storm ult looking great here. They only have Rocket ult, which means really Rocket does come out from the Luna pick from Storm ult. Hawkeye does die, and the Condors actually pretty good. I don't know how much I agree with that, especially that they're up too. You see, the Albany is trying to get an Agamotto out. I don't really get anybody. That's the Invis on the Condors actually pushed him away. See a huge thing of just insulting the thing of the Danes use thing of as well. Condors, are just sitting local. Luna ult does come out. Definitely starting the show as they are taking out the Condors 1 by 1. And I mean, man, I don't see a thing that play like this often where it's so the Condors do that support on to the point. Trying to see if they can do anything, and it does not look like they can. The Condors got about 3/4 of the way, halfway through the half. And only on the 2-0. So Albany only needs to get past that point to win.
You'll need a top-notch
it's going to be interesting
to
here to see if the Condors can actually play the choke maybe really well. Maybe they just play the chokes really well. Because as much as Albany played their chokes really well on defense, can they do the same on attack? It's, you know, really unknown. And with Gambit being banned, actually, it's hard, you know, it's really hard to enter chokes because Gambit ult can speed boost, he can damage boost, so you can just try and get picks left and right and just run at them. But without that, you really don't have it. You have to enter the Cloak ult, you can enter the Luna ult even, but it's a little more difficult. And Albany is looking to run the same comp as they did to finish.
30 seconds before you attack.
Hawkeye, Star-Lord, just the usual. The Condors switching up their comp quite a bit. We see a rogue switch, Mag Rogue, as the tank comp on defense, which is very interesting. Rogue on defense, any brawl tank like Thor, like Hulk on defense, kind of hard to work with since, you know, they have to be really aware of their spacing. And we see Squirrel Girl, which is, you know,
all you need to do
in
is
Diamond
capture the
lobbies, you
mission
might see
area.
Squirrel Girl maybe higher up in the competitive level with Squirrel Girl, you know, a little score is just pretty low maintenance, you know? But in this choke, maybe the score goal is just gonna dominate, we don't know. And I think the plan for all this here is just to get their star back there. Maybe use that purpose. Have the snowflake on it. And all the way here, looking for the throw, even kind of jumper thing there. Mag on the Condors. And they get amazing pick all there. I do not know what happened. Albany just ran down the Condors. Like I didn't even. I blinked and they got 3 picks. The thing in Strange is running it down. Unfortunately, I do miss it there. The Condors opting to switch to Namor over Squirrel. I don't know how much that's gonna fare. We actually do see Star-Lord die and Hawkeye die, so each team down a DPS.
Thanks so much.
Rocket really close to being on crazy. At an early support ult here, they might just be able to play Condors really fast. You know, Rocket ult is a damn reuse, so it will eventually
needed that boost.
You see Mag going down. Star-Lord huge thing and just running it down. Crazy from Star-Lord there. The positioning must have been really good.
You guys ready to
Star-Lord
overthrow
was
King?
ready
Let's do this.
for the Thingle. Actually, it wasn't even Thingle, sorry, it was Agamotto. Agamotto's basically a huge CC, so I apologize. Agamotto stunned 3 of them. Even then, the stun still came out, and the Star-Lord was really well positioned there to optimize. And you see the Danes, 3 ults online. None. Just got in this ult. I mean, both DPS huge stun. Oh my god. Huge ult for the thing. I believe I saw 5 people stunned. God, it's crazy from the thing. They must have just been all bundled up. Because the thing, that's what the thing does best. You know, they're all bundled up. It's just gonna haymaker them constantly. And, you know, build really fast, and furthermore, you know, once you get that ult off, it's basically grabs. You know, the Mag should really be careful with the shield. Now we see here, the Danes did kind of ult them. Yes, ult, I believe we got a ult there, so that's normal have a ult there. But I don't think we know the group as already a group. Might be something like that. The swap does get picked off there. And the Mag surprisingly getting 2 hits there on time. Out of all people, to see the group get the rocket. Thing just kind of get out. And the Condors played that pretty well. I think the Storm Bolt was intended to get the out. And it worked. And they successfully killed the Danes there. Got a pick on the thing. The thing finally died. I believe that might be his first death, even. He did do a crazy job at just sustains. Moon Knight get the pick there at the Star-Lord. Moon Knight's off. I believe it was either Hawkeye or Spider-Man. We see 3 ults on the main side. You see blunder there by Ida, the Hawkeye. There was a little lackluster. Kind of too close to does die there. The Star-Lord dead guard here for the main side is doing a really good job of optimizing stuff. Very close here. Star-Lord does come out, and the Danes just run through the Condors there.
3-2-2.
Successfully done on attack, even though the chokes on that map are particularly hard to get through. The Danes just, I don't know what it is, maybe they're just very confident, maybe they just know when to take fights. Maybe the Star-Lord got very good picks very often to where they were able to just snowball out of control. It is now 2-0 for the Danes, And I wonder what the Condors are thinking here. Like, what do they need to stop? Because they can't stop everything. The Thing being absolutely crazy there. We see 40 and 4. So maybe not just one death, but 4 deaths is not something to laugh at a game this decently long and this high of competitiveness. We see the Star-Lord 48 and 8, which is crazy. The amount of picks that means. That is insane. And I think we saw it a bit where his positioning was just really well done, to where every time his tanks ulted, he was just there, and without his own ult, he got 3 picks. So very well done. I believe the Condors did better with their support there. We see they do have a little bit more healing than the Danes. Does that mean the Danes just did an absolutely ton of damage? Possibly. But, you know, on the other flip side, you know, we can't laugh at that healing. Healing is healing in the end of the day. I think what the Condors need to do is just they need to be a little bit more aware of their positioning. You know, they know a Star-Lord is potentially coming from behind. It's like a really hard pincer where there's a Star-Lord in the back and the Hawkeye in the front. Where do we go? I think the thing they have to pivot towards is just denying one of them and really focusing on an aspect. You know, I think they're trying to split up too much, and it's just causing them to take attention away from the main problem, or just they're not focusing on one problem enough, and I think that's their downfall. So we're just gonna have to see in map 3. Welcome back, everybody. This is the 3rd map of the series. Albany only needs one more win here to close the series 3-0. And we're on Convoy, which is the payload map. I apologize, they're slightly different. Still payload oriented. So we see here, I really hope that the Danes are just having a fun time over there. We see 2 Scarlet Witches and a Widow. They're probably just having a good old fun. We see a Rogue Hover, a Lord Rogue Hover. You don't see that every day. I love to see it though. Gambit Hover. They're saving Gambit. They're probably gonna abuse the hell out of Gambit here because Gambit is really strong. We've talked about it a little bit today. Opting for Cloak again, Mag, Spider-Man, and Mr. Fantastic. I play Fantastic myself, so it's really interesting to see Fantastic here against a Poke Top. We see, like, Fantastic does not do good at all in Poke Top, so it's going to be really interesting here to see what they're trying to opt for. And we see the Danes saving Thing and Punisher, not saving Hawkeye, not saving Hela, but we do see the Condors banning Hawkeye, Hela, and now Star-Lord. Those bans have to be targeted. There is no way they just conveniently said, huh, who's good on this map? Star-Lord, Hela, and Hawkeye. They are good picks, but very specific for the Danes here. And the Danes actually banning Mag slightly before, and Groot, which these are just target bans out of just
You'll
both
need a
teams here.
top-notch team to
The
win this
Psylocke
one.
ban, the Psylocke was banned, I think, every game from the Danes so far. They must really hate Psylocke over there. I could see why a good Psylocke can just really mess up the backline, just be kind of a, I know, we were talking about it with Star-Lord, a mosquito in the backline once again. And we see the Danes going for, I would say, more of a brawly type comp here. As much as Phoenix and Punisher are hit scan and can poke, I think they're kind of opting for more of a kind of brawl with Punisher instead of, well, you know, Hawkeye and Hela were banned, but I do
30
believe
seconds before
Punisher
you attack.
can
Get
kind
ready.
of position both poke and brawl. Everybody,
I know that look
I
all
shouldn't
too
say
well,
everybody,
Cher.
but it should be
Wanna tell
known
me what's
that
going through your
Punisher
creative
shotgun can do amazing damage to us. That thing can low-key 210. And we see the Condors, like they're recovering, we see Rogue, we see Cloak as we Cloak Dagger, as they normally run, Gambit this time, Emma,
battle starts
Bucky,
in
and
5,
Fantastic. That
4,
is the definition of
3,
a brawl comp right
2,
there.
1.
Potentially a little bit of a rush. No, I wouldn't
Our
say
enemies
rush
are
because,
near.
you know, Gambit only happens
You keep your eyes on the road.
so I think the Condors might struggle here with no real shooting. Emma does have a little 9, but is it going to be enough? Especially against Phoenix? Hard to say. Maybe that's where they fantastic. Where he eat up all the damage. Oddly out of position. We haven't really seen too much bad positioning from the Danes. So maybe he got fixed now. We see the Condors really early lead here. Actually getting around that corner really early. That corner is really hard to get past because, you know,
I'm hungry now.
see the punch going straight here and has to start the Fantastic.
I'm good to go.
Like really shutting down. How is he shutting down? Kind of a pundit from the Condors. Robo can be amazing. Actually could be a little bit of cold. You see the Condors
Double kill.
kind of winning here. It's really hard to say. Looks like the Condors are backing out and walking the field here. And they actually get a pick on the game. I did not see that. I believe the Condors will fight, but they luckily survived the Danes' onslaught of ults. So really,
They hit a checkpoint. Now
sorry
might
about
be
that,
a good
everybody.
time to stop
We're
them.
back. Like I was talking about, the Condors did a very good job there of winning at the Storm, not running Storm, sorry, and, you know, re-hitting the point when they could. And we do see they have Fantastic ult. Fantastic ult's a little difficult to use, because if everybody runs away, which, you know, that's maybe what's intended for, but we see a Venom switch. Venom, we have not seen that today. We've really only seen Sting and Scream, really feels low. Tanks, we see Venom here, probably a bit more pressure. We see Punish ult come out. I'm wondering for the Fantastic does die. I just dreaded the shift. When you close yourself up, you can take great damage. And we do see the Danes actually get pushed back here. Gambit dying again.
Armed and
Dying now. Gambit does get rezzed. Or actually, the Danes are on Rocket. Rocket Gambit instead of Luna Gambit. I don't know how well that's gonna fare for them here. They don't have a quote-unquote support role.
again.
You know, I don't die for 12 seconds, but you know, they have really much more.
Better stop that vehicle!
Gambit and Rocket.
There's still a chance to stop them!
And the Danes actually kind of stressing here. Luna is out, which they have not played.
Gambit never falls!
By the eye of Agamotto.
Very slightly late because the Gambit on the Danes did get there.
The moon haunts you!
And the Condors
Everybody
picking
needs
up
a hand.
the expectation. I shouldn't say expectation, but how
They
the
hit a
Danes
checkpoint.
have been running
Now
through
might be a good time to
the
stop
upper
them.
games. The Condors are kind of putting them on their back ends here. Like, we see the Danes like swapping very often. We haven't really seen that, where, you know, they've lost fights, but, you know, they're very confident in their moves, and they just stay. But here, we see Venom, we see Moon Knight, and like very odd swaps.
Better stop that vehicle!
I wonder how good Bucky is. They're trying to shut down the road a little bit. But the game's only a block, though. I wonder if the Condors can get it back. Rogue does die there. I think the Condors should have played lightly there. They had fantastic pull and bug heal. They potentially just I shouldn't say they didn't know
now
that
you do the same for
Danes
me,
didn't
Wee.
have a support ult.
He
They
stopped
had
them in
rocket
their
ult,
tracks.
but that can only go so far. So I wonder why they just saved their ults there. I personally would have Moon Knight actually on height. Oh my god.
Armed and dangerous.
And we see the Condor successfully snowball there as the Danes have done all day.
Again.
Maybe taking kind of on the idea of just running it down. You know, they got the pick on the Moon Knight, who, you know, took a while to get res. Then the rest of them were just, you know, couldn't really do much. You know, Bucky,
Better stop that
Strange
vehicle.
only stopped so much.
Don't give them another
Still have
inch.
fantastic ult. We see almost 4, potentially 5
I'll
ult.
patch you up. Just the boost I need.
The Danes do have 3 ult. Rocket ult go down. Gambit ult, and the Condor
This is real power!
very unfortunate. Gambit, huge stun from Emma ult. Emma ult just brought all to the Emma player. But Albany's not going down without a fight. They actually are potentially winning the fight.
Double kill!
Ooh, that, you know, ever since they swapped Venom's ult to anti-heal, it's been a huge buff for Venom. He's just able to kill way more and be more impactful with his ult. And I think that's just a very good fight from both teams. You know, neither really back down, neither ult dumped per se. The Condors a little behind on ult. You know, Moon Knight ult. Moon Knight killed like 30 seconds. So what does that really say? You know, and that's really, you know,
The moon haunts
I think that's a blunder of Moon Knight ult. You really just put it in a room. That is a pretty good elbow for the Condors. Fantastic did die, but other than that,
Us against the world!
see the strange on the Danes actually get hit.
Armed and dangerous. Again.
Whoa,
Again.
Bucky keeps going. Again, right? So, unfortunately gets, I shouldn't say unfortunately, gets 2 picks there, very good.
I
Had a good
unleash the
one.
Vishanti's
Down to 30
power!
seconds!
2 stuns
Again.
stunned actually. Potentially a better dodge.
Double kill!
We see the Danes doing a really good job at holding the point. We see the Condors having to fort here. what they can do is fantastic. Needs to
Leave them to
tiny. That's the only support swap a while ago. But it's not enough actually. The Condors successfully took that back. Venom is gonna have to cut. I wonder how good or how long he can live.
By the eye of Agamotto!
And the Condors successfully get to the end. They did a really good job. Maybe this map is just one of their better ones. And they successfully ran it down there, took the port, used it really well, and got back on the point. Maybe the fantastic holy ult was the play. Maybe I was just too trigger happy with my fantastic ults. And yeah, the Danes, I really wonder what they're gonna opt to do here. It's hard to say. You know, I think they were like, I was talking about stressing a little bit, like what do we do here? You know, it's kind of hard to say. You know, it was on the Moon Knight swap, and I don't think the Moon Knight swap was that good. You know, Bucky can really just grab him, and then he's defenseless. And we kind of see from the rosters right now, 3 DPS from the Danes. That is, I wonder if that's gonna hold true.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Like Daredevil is a very aggressive.
Hey, I saw that turret thing you
did.
How much you want?
Probably like a Star-Lord-esque character we saw from last match where he wanted that backline pressure. And I wonder how well he's gonna do. I don't know too much about Daredevil on this map. But from what I know about the game, really hard. I don't think he's gonna have the most rollouts here.
2, 1.
Or we're just gonna have to see. And we see the Danes opting for Rocket Invis, so off the Gambit. Hard to say.
I
That would work.
Battlefield ready again.
I think the dive that fantastic there is not working. Fantastic just getting really here. Rocket was dying though. Nice pick on the Gambit, it's a good pick. And you see the back and forth here between surprisingly even though they take out different characters on each side.
Pick me up.
It turns out good for the Danes who have point and are pushing it. It seems that the Moon Knight and I believe maybe Invis, it was 2 people and they just killed off the Emma. Now the Danes are back all together.
Back to my old
the Condors plays are the Danes are up.
Wounds are gone.
I am strengthened.
When they get ult again, I mean, very early here.
The moon haunts you.
Aggressive here. He's kind of stuck in the open. See 2 picks here. The Daredevil did get picked off. The Condors pivoting here. Fantastic, very low.
I unleash the Vishanti's power.
And the Danes actually fight here.
Vehicle reached the checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
They're close. Potentially thinking she
This
had,
core should end our little Ultron problem.
you know, either way.
War is hell, right, Barnes?
Speaking of picks, the Punisher getting a very good pick on the Bucky there. I believe the Condors should just back up, regroup. You know, Bucky's a very important character in any comp, especially just for what he brings to the table, you know. And we see the Condors and Danes having similar ults here. The Condors actually up 1 life. Back to the Danes, they have 4. Very fun ult dump here. And we see the Condors winning the fight here. Thanks to the Gambit ult. I don't know if I spoke on it a bit, but the Gambit ult, you know, with the damage and speed boost, has the ability to what teamwork, honestly. Like, it's just so huge. A little different from Rocket ult, where everybody's kind of doing their own thing and can spread out more. And the Condors didn't even use another ult there. They used only Gambit ult in the white thing.
Judge, jury, real firepower.
The Punisher killing the ult dumped a bit, and Condors hurried up, spoke maybe a little too soon, and the Danes pivoted that fight really well, and are up to
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
see that string almost has automotive online. There's a little back another ult. I didn't think we could get that ult that fast. Really
Reach the checkpoint. Keep up the
express on
pace.
that. Really even
It deserves to be.
the string almost dying here, hard to say. That was a crazy grab just going for control there. But it was not really on the third second.
Love battlefield medicine.
Very aggressive here. I wonder if possibly the Condor should switch off Gambit. I mean, as much as the Gambit is winning them fights, is that all they really need is the ult to win a fight, or a consistent healer?
Don't let anything stand in your way.
Running down right now. Look, almost at the end. It would go to a draw. See the rocket getting kicked off by the Condors. Daredevil actually kills the road, kills the Bucky.
Double KO.
Gambit dying here.
The moon haunts you.
Doesn't hit the rocket, so it might hit the fire.
Armed and dangerous.
Wait, again. Everybody's favorite line. What if
The beacon is swept away. Oh, be gone.
Yeah, it's 3-3 on both sides. The Danes are up, however, 2 minutes. Almost basically 3 at the
Time
end,
to
and
switch things
the
up,
rivals add
including
the
which
minutes
side
to
you're
each
on.
team. So the Danes are up
You'll need a
4
top-notch
minutes to
team
1
to
minute
win
for
this
the
one.
Condors. So not looking good for the Condors. They played very well in the first round, but it seemed like Albany's attack on any map is just so aggressive and just overbearing is the word I would use. They just, very confident that they're gonna win, and confidence goes a long way, in any game you play. If you think you're gonna win, it's more likely or not that you're gonna hit your shots and you're gonna win the fight or whatever it is. So I wonder if the Condors are gonna switch it up here. I think they should opt off of Gambit, but it looks like they're switching more to Cloak and Gambit, which I think is smart. I think they do
30
need that
seconds
range
before you
really.
attack.
Because
Get ready.
Rocket Gambit, no offense to the Condors, doesn't really have too much sustain,
You know my weapons can still lock onto you even when you're invisible.
Gambit,
I thought we were
pretty good
supposed
healer,
to be on
but
the
you
same
need that
side,
support
Frank.
hole every once in a while.
For now.
And something I noticed,
This
a
business,
fantastic player was playing Rocket.
Be sure to remember that.
So they're kind of swapping roles, which is not to say you can't do that,
battle
but
starts
it's
in
usually
5,
traditional that you
4,
play one role
3,
and you focus
2,
on that, so it's
1.
kind of weird that they swap. And you see
enemies are
the
here.
Danes here going back to the lead like this, even Punisher, very good. Right back. And I'm shocked that they're very good.
This is a team effort.
But unfortunately not.
The wounds are
I
gone.
wonder if the rogue isn't gonna. They kind of figure out the rogue, as we saw.
We
in the
fight
first
until
round,
the
rogue
fight is
shut
over.
down things, but here not so much. And almost on another big ride. Ida, that's the Hawkeye player. He's just showing that he's one of the strongest teams here. A little farther back. Didn't get
Keep fighting until we have a winner.
Emma or Emma doesn't get picked up Rocket, but it doesn't count. So here I say Rocket does count. I forgot. What are the oh, it's the end of the round. My apologies. I was questioning why the Danes were ult
three.
pumping, even though the Condors were
Time
dead.
to switch
It is
things
the end
up,
of the round, and
including which
it's
side
not
you're
a
on.
great position for the Condors here. They barely got
You'll
the
need a
point, even
top-notch
past
team
the
to
first
win this
point.
one.
So we're just gonna see if they can really do much here, you know? And I really, okay, I saw Black Panther, I got scared, because BP is such an interesting character. So, yeah, I really wonder what the Condors are gonna do here. I mean, we haven't seen too much variety, dare I say, from either team. You know, we've seen Strange the whole day on either side. Rocket, we see Gambit, we see Invis. You know, we've seen pretty much the same characters today. So maybe the Condors just don't have too much variety here. Maybe the Danes are just, you know, very confident in the characters they know.
30
We've seen
seconds before you
the
attack.
Danes
Get
really run
ready.
the same comp for 2 games in a row. This is the only game, for
When we're done
example,
here,
that they have
you're welcome
really
to join us
swapped,
back at
you
the
know,
Baxter
Moon Knight
building.
and Daredevil.
Thanks for the offer.
On that, they really
But
like their
I'm
comfort
needed
picks,
on the
you know,
streets.
Invis, Strange
Innocent lives
are
hang in the
very good
balance.
comfort picks.
We've already
That's
saved
where the
so
banning,
many. Even
the
justice
banning
needs to
is
rest
really
every now and then.
important, because if you target banning
But not on my watch.
the enemy team,
The battle
like,
starts in 5,
the characters left
4,
open
3,
that are actually good
2,
on the map are
1.
going to be abused. Like, maybe, although I'm, like I said, not really informed about it, maybe Daredevil is crazy busted
I'm
on
the
this
only
map.
one whose
And they
line
luck out
I
of it.
haven't
They didn't make
crossed.
Feel them.
It's gonna die here. See 2 picks from the Condors. Sorry, 2 games, 2 Condors, and very unfortunate that Moon Knight just got res and then dies again. Very unfortunate. Moon Knight player thing gets picked off all day, so it's a little bit rough. And there you have it. The Danes
Final score.
successfully
4,
win
2,
game 3 in overtime, all things considered, and that is, I believe, the end of the series. A nice 3-0 from Group 3. UAlbany Danes playing very aggressive, very confident in this fight, and unfortunately for the Condors, they just couldn't maybe handle it. So hopefully the Condors learn off of this, maybe to play a little more defensive, to try other comps. And for the Danes, this makes them 2-0 in the NECC series. So a great way to start off the season for them. I hope to see this continue. You know, I hope to learn more about these players, to learn more about like how far they're. It's gonna sound a little bit cliche and corny, but how far they can go in this game to win. You know, that's always the most interesting thing as a commentator, to see how far your team is gonna go. But that is it for me. That is it from the UAlbany Danes, and we will hopefully see you next week for Game 3 of the series. Have a good night, everybody.